Hinduism, because of its more accepting nature of not just criticism but even attacks, is made fun of, denigrated and abused on a daily basis. Some of the vulgar and offensive jibes against Hindus like cow-piss drinkers have become so mainstream that nobody even raises an eyebrow, let alone face any action. But when it comes to Islam, not even criticism is allowed. Blasphemy in Islam is such a strong and unyielding concept that nobody is safe from it, from its wrath, not even Muslims themselves. But in India, it's not a Sharia law that applies. We have our own laws against offensive speech. The problem arises when there is action against one kind of statement and not against the other kind. When one set of feelings are protected more than others, because some are expected to be tolerant about their religion, while the others have no such baggage of expectations. The same set of rules doesn't always mean a level playing field, because how and when those rules are applied can be very different. In India, it depends on who is in power, who is more vulnerable as far as a complaint is concerned, and it changes state to state. This is why Sharmishta Panoli, 22-year-old social media user, is in jail today, but her complainant, a lawyer named Wazahat Khan Qadri Rashidi, has escaped any scrutiny despite his extremely vulgar and clearly offensive posts against Hindus and Hinduism over the years. Ironic that a man who has so much hatred against other religions got hurt so quickly by the Kolkata police over his hurt sentiments. Probably nobody thought that it was worth acting on. But when an apology is not enough to assuage hurt feelings when it comes to Islam, the other side also wakes up to the game. So now counter complaints have been filed against this law. The issue though is twofold. One is about the overzealousness with which state governments have started picking up social media users over posts, and second is the exclusivity provided to Muslims over hurt feelings even above the majority of the country. Now, Wazahat Khan, who has filed a case against Sharmishta, has a history of making abusive and derogatory remarks, not just against the Hindu community, but also Hindu gods and goddesses. His social media posts remain active. No action has been taken against him yet, although now multiple complaints have been filed. So let me mention some of these derogatory posts that he has made. Some of the language is actually so vulgar, it cannot be repeated on camera. So he has made remarks against Lord Krishna in the past. He has called him a Rangila or a playboy who secretly watched women bathe. No action was taken. In one post, he has labelled Hindu festival of Holi as rapist culture. Again, he escaped unscathed. He has insulted even the very revered Kamakhya Devi temple in Assam, describing it as a place where Brahmins worship a chopped vagina, going on to question practices, calling them blind worship or mental sickness. There has been zero action against this man. Wazahat Khan has even called fellow countrymen, fellow Hindus, urine drinkers and sick people. Sharmishta has been called out by many for her abusive posts, but even those who found them unwarranted and publicity hungry are raising questions on whether she needed to be arrested. Here's the timeline of her entire case. On May 14th, the 22-year-old law student with over 175,000 followers across X and Instagram posted a video supporting Operation Sindoor, but in this video, she also made allegedly divisive remarks against the community. The very same day as the post went viral, AIMIM national spokesperson Waris Pathan shared Panoli's videos on X and claimed that she had insulted Islam. He went on to demand her arrest. The next day, after massive backlash and anger, the 22-year-old law student offered an unconditional apology. She stated that she had no intention of hurting anyone and later deleted her post. But post the deletion of the video, a number of FIRs were filed against the influencer, accusing her of promoting enmity between groups based on religion. On May 30, Kolkata police tracked her down in Gurugram and arrested her. The Kolkata police says that they made several attempts to serve legal notices to her, but the attempts were unsuccessful because Panoli and family had absconded. The influencer has since been remanded to judicial custody till June 30. But no one can blame one side here alone, even though there are political barbs being exchanged. Let me draw a parallel to two cases we saw in the month of May. Sharmishta was arrested despite an apology. A university professor and former politician Ali Khan Ahmedabad was also arrested within a day of a complaint registered against his social media post. In Sharmishta's case, as I mentioned, the derogatory posts were already deleted. She had apologized and shown the intent to repent for what she said. In Mahmoodabad's case, there was actually no clear case of offence made at all, at least in terms of derogatory or abusive language. Complainant in Sharmishta's case, as I said, has a dubious history himself, and nobody in Kolkata police thought it fit to check what are the antecedents of this complainant himself. While in Khan's case, again, it was a BJP youth wing member whose complaint did the trick. Aren't both these cases examples of overreach? At least Mahmoodabad got an expedited hearing in Supreme Court. No such luck for Sharmishta. So the question we ask today is simply this. While the offensive complainant himself is free, despite public knowledge of his very offensive tweets now, is it not selective action by Mamata Banerjee's government?
जिस प्रकार उसको थ्रेट किया जा रहा है मर्डर करने का, रेप करने का, तो हम लोगों का ऐसा डर है कि बंगाल की पुलिस और बंगाल की प्रशासन कहीं उसके सुरक्षा में कोई चूक ना रहे।
हिंदू धर्म के बारे में, हिंदू देवी देवताओं के बारे में बहुत से अभद्र पोस्ट इस व्यक्ति ने किए।
एफआईआर महुआ मित्र के खिलाफ, मोहित्र के खिलाफ था। माता काली के ऊपर कितना घटिया टिप्पणी किया, कोई एक्शन हुआ? उनके एमपी सायनी घोष महादेव को लेकर क्या पोस्ट किया, कोई एक्शन हुआ?
धर्म के नाम पे कोई प्रोवोकेशन, जो धर्मी हो, हम लोग नहीं करता है और हम लोग बर्दाश्त भी नहीं करता है।
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Shubhrashta is an author and political analyst. Shabnam Dey is a lawyer, and Satya Mule, also lawyer, joining us. We'll also be joined by Manojit Mandal and more guests as we go along. But Shabnam Dey, I'm coming to you first up. The charge that is going against the TMC government, because the police comes directly under the state government, is that you've shown overzealousness as far as arresting this girl is concerned, even though she deleted her post, when the complainant in her case has even more abusive and vulgar tweets. Did the police not do any homework in figuring out who this complainant is? What are his antecedents? This is basic due process that the police follows when a complaint is received by them. Ma'am, I think you are on mute. Please unmute yourself. Can you hear me, Shabnam Dey?
Yes, I can hear you. Am I audible?
You are audible now. Go ahead.
Good evening,
Yeah.
Shalini.
My name is Shivani, ma'am. Shivani.
Shivani,
Yeah, go ahead.
Shivani, for inviting me on this debate.
Yes.
Because this already KPC, Kolkata Police, has clarified and giving this detailed clarification yesterday that there is no misleading and no incorrect way to arrest her, because all legal procedures are being maintained as per the Kolkata police source said, and they have given the detailed clarification which have you have shown through your media, and this has arisen where there is Article 19(1)(a), which has been infringed by these social influencer, Instagram influencer, by spreading and promoting this communal hatred. And
No, I get that. It's not a defense of Sharmishta per se. If there is an application of the law against her, so be it. The question is that the complainant in her case has equally vulgar, if not worse, comments that have been made in social media. The police is failing to act on him.
FIR has been registered by the individual complainant. If the complainant is also in that derogatory comments or like that sort of, then police, if any individual is registering a case, police has to take that registration of the FIR
এই ল্যাপটপটা
under
নিয়ে যাও এখান
section,
থেকে।
under BNSS, and nowadays BNSS, and automatically police will also take legal course of action. Everybody is just within the present of the law. Nobody is above the law of the land. So it is a secular democratic country, and a bulkiest constitution all over the world. India is having the bulkiest constitution all over the world, and all the uh, articles which are being enshrined, which is being infringed by this influencer under Article 19(1)(a), promoting and provocating this hatred communal speech in our Facebook, which has made this FIR to be registered within the Garden Reach
No,
PS
so
case number 136 dated 15/5/25.
I get what you're saying. You know, the charge that is also going against the TMC, which the BJP and other political parties are also made, Manojit Mandal is also joining us, is that there's so much alacrity shown by the Kolkata police to arrest a 22-year-old female social media user who has since apologized, deleted her post, but it takes them a long time to arrest, you know, those accused in cases in West Bengal, whether it's Sandesh Khali or Shah Jahan Khan. Took 55 days it took the police to arrest him, accused
Because
of
they-
hurting the ED team going for a probe. Ma'am, this question is for Manojit Mandal. I'll come back to you. Manojit Mandal, is this a case of overzealousness by the Kolkata police, showing alarming alacrity to arrest a non-dangerous 22-year-old female social media user?
Apparently, Jyoti Malhotra was also a non-dangerous, influencer on YouTube. Look at her fate. The facts remain that you cannot compare the present situation in India with other normal situations. And if you believe that whatever this person was doing, she should be hauled as a kind of vanguard of Hindutva, then it's your problem. The fact remains that the Sindoor operation is still on. Foreign delegations are visiting countries, especially Islamic countries, whereby to make such a post and thereafter to delete it doesn't mean that the case should be registered. And if there is no case at all, even after deletion of the post, there is no law to apply, the court should have granted her bail. Instead, what does the court do? First, the court gives her a transit remand to bring her to Calcutta. And then even a Calcutta court has sent us to 14-day judicial custody. She was not a 22 years normal student. She was a student of law. She was very much aware of what she was doing. And even if you go by her
I'm losing your network.
So she should go to the jail and come out. She should go to jail and come out amended.
No, I get what you're saying, but my question was, is the police being selectively used to settle certain scores on the basis of vote banks and on the basis of population sentiments being hurt? That is the charge that the TMC is facing. I quote to you one more time. The Kolkata police or the Bengal police took 55 days to arrest the key conspirator Shah Jahan, who is accused of attacks on ED team in Sandesh Khali. In Sandesh Khali itself, victims filed a case in Calcutta High Court. 3 individuals, including TMC officials, were named. But the police didn't act and the court had to reprimand the Bengal police on that case.
Can I answer?
Yes.
Why did you arrest the professor in Ashoka University? What was his fault? Because
so
of
is
the
it tit for tat?
No, hang on, no, not tit for tat. Did I say that? We did not even defend the arrest, criticize the arrest of the professor because the situation was extraordinary. If you're comparing this with what happened to Shah Jahan, by the way, Shah Jahan was arrested and nothing could be done so far by your CBI. That's another fact. But I repeat, you cannot compare situation in India in the last few years and in the last few months, especially after 22 years. We are seeing an extraordinary amount of unity among the people of India. Almost we are in a world path. The operation is still on, and here is this kind of sentimental issues must be tackled with law.
Okay. Let me bring in Shubhrashtra on this as well.
Just one more 10 seconds. If you believe in free speech, even at that point, in this point in time, the Supreme Court has not approved of what the professor did in his case. And even in this case, the court hasn't approved of what this girl has did. Two
Yeah.
are from different
Shibrashta,
religions.
so what's the offence really as far as this lady's arrest is concerned? It's clear she made videos. She is old enough to understand the impact of those videos that you're making. She was extremely abusive in those videos and then crossed a line which attracts certain sections under the Indian Constitution. Is it fair to just project her as a victim in this case?
No, neither is it prudent to project her as a victim, nor is it sagacious on part of any state government or union government to come down on her like the way they have. And let us unpack these 2 points quite clearly here. I don't understand why do we need to not debate freedom of expression here, because in any other case, you mentioned Professor Mahmoodabad's case, the first charge and the first conversation actually we had was freedom of expression, right? So then within that ambit, I think she's legitimately, she should be legitimately allowed to use whatever language she wants to use to say whatever the hell she wants to say. Now, you feel offended by certain language, mute her, don't watch her, don't subscribe to her, block her, keep her out of your sanitized timelines. Nobody requested anybody. I mean, I don't think any political party or even Sharmishta for that matter, I don't think she put out an appeal to the larger public asking people to hear her political opinions. Yes, her political opinions might be offensive to many of us in terms of language, in the way in which she, took certain sections of people down. And I think that's fair in a democracy, right?
No, the problem here is, Shubhrashta, then we have to make an argument that certain sections of the Indian Constitution have to go. Because we know that those laws exist. They are applied to others as well. So if we want that level of freedom of speech, which I doubt is possible in our country, at least as it stands, then we have to have a very different conversation. Under the prevalent laws, there was a case under which she could be booked.
Sure. And I think she apologized. She put an unconditional apology for that. My problem is with this kind of political one-upmanship that is trying to happen. My problem is with two political ideologies and camps like warring with each other over this particular individual. I'm not, what the conversation that you just opened up, Shivani, is definitely a larger conversation. Whether we need, reforms in Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, etc., etc., etc. And of course, a freedom of expression should be absolute. Completely different conversation. In this case, I think, as you rightly pointed out, it is a case of, you didn't point out, you asked it in a way, it is about political overzealousness, and it is definitely about also portraying Sharmishta as a victim. As a 22-year-old, if you can go out and vote, you very well know what you are entering into, which zone you are entering into. Yes, you're young, you are enthusiastic, you have certain social media following, and you would want to play along those lines. That's a very strategic move that any youngster today is taking with respect to all the kind of monetization, etc., that's happening on social media. So she should not be immune to the laws of the land. However, in all political wisdom, with all the, the years that go by and, our hair becomes gray, if you are in a position of power, you should have at least that kind of liberal mindset. You should apply that liberal mindset while you're practicing your politics as well.
Yeah.
And Manoju might disagree with me. He's open to his right to disagreement. But if I were to pose the same question about Mahmoodabad, he would take a completely different stand.
Yeah,
No,
all the people who came out to defend Professor Mahmoodabad, they're nowhere to be seen when it comes to Sharmishta, this girl Sharmishta. In fact, I don't have to remind, I think there's a shadow of the entire Nupur Sharma case as far as all of these cases is concerned. And nobody wants to talk about it because when it comes to a certain set of beliefs, even if you are speaking the truth, but if you are seen as being offensive, quote unquote, then it's not just the law, your entire life can be taken away from you. And that is a different double standard that I'm also pointing out to. Is there exclusivity point given to a certain section where your sentiments cannot be hurt at all, but others are free game, do whatever you want, say whatever you want, देखते हैं किसकी पुलिस किसको arrest करती है, let's see who is able to pull you up or not. But on one section there's absolutely no questions asked. No questions asked if there are riots over a comment, no questions asked if there are effigies being burned. Nupur Sharma's effigy was hung from a pole as a symbol of killing her. There were all kinds of slogans and threats against her. But the people who defend a certain section for freedom of speech and whose appeals go straight up to Supreme Court, they are quiet when such incidents happen. I also have Satya Mule with me. I also have Vineet Jindal, who is an advocate and who's actually filed a complaint now against the complainant, the lawyer Wajahat Khan, who filed the complaint against Sharmishta to begin with. Vineet, I'm going to come to you in just a bit. Satya Mule, I'm coming to you first up. Shouldn't the police also look at who is filing this complaint? Generally, my understanding is when a complaint reaches a police station, before it is turned into an FIR, some due diligence is done. Do you think within, whatever time they took, they couldn't figure out that this guy who's filing this complaint already also, can be booked under the same sections?
Yes. Instead of the role of police, whether they did due diligence or not, I would rather go one step ahead and say that now the role of the police must be put under the lens. What has made them act in such a manner? Understand one thing, when it comes to Constitution of India, freedom of speech for that matter, or secularism, both of them are a two-way street. In Nandini Sundar versus State of Chhattisgarh, the Supreme Court has held that even in warlike situations, fundamental rights such as freedom of speech remain intact. Even for that matter, in emergency cases, freedom of speech remains intact. So that narrative of giving some kind of preaching to somebody who is a 22-year-old is completely misplaced. We have to also look at the case of Shreya Singhal, where Section 66A of the IT Act was struck down because the offensive posts were made, punishable. So going deeper in this controversy, whether something offensive is hurting somebody's sentiment, it has already been clarified by Supreme Court that something offensive need not be criminalized. If until and unless it is provocative and instigating, then only it takes the shape and form of a crime. Here there are no dangas, there are no protests, there is no social unrest, there is no bloodshed that is happening across the country.
There was no call to violence either.
There was no call for violence. It is in fact what has to be reported is the post that provocated this particular young girl to react. She has a fundamental right to react and express, and that particular right is putting her in jail. Definitely the role of police of West Bengal is under lens.
Can I ask you, why is she not getting bail? I just want to understand. Mahmoodabad got bail. His appeal got heard by the Supreme Court in a hurry. Why is she not getting bail? Who is she a danger to? Why can't the case go on without keeping her in custody?
Her bail application must be heard within 24 hours. It is one of the most top urgent applications in this country under Constitution of India. Freedom and liberties are to be protected at any cost. We have seen this in Arnab Goswami case. Now, if it is denied by the trial court, definitely the High Court as well as the Supreme Court will have to step in next 24 to 48 hours to restore justice in West Bengal, where it appears to be that the police machinery is turning out to be a joke.
Manojit Mandal, I'll come back to you one second. Vineet Jindal is also joining us. Vineet Jindal, people will say that you're using this case to now, come down as a ton of bricks on that lawyer Wajahat Khan. So far, his posts had not invited any complaint, only because now he has filed a complaint. Now you're making him a victim as well.
Look, a complaint can be filed only when the true facts come into knowledge. When it is come to our knowledge, definitely, if that is wrong, that is illegal, we have a right to file a complaint. Nobody raise a question. That is their provocative. As my learned friend says that freedom of speech and expression is there. Anybody can say anything. Like the people can say that now a complaint has been filed against Samishta. That's why we are targeting him. It is not like that. The person, if you see the post of this person, that is more than provocative. The statement which is allegedly given by the Samishta Panoli. So he has been specifically talking about vulgar things about Ma Kamakhya and Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Can you imagine the words which has been using by this person in his post? That is really provocative, that is really derogatory, and he is targeting the whole Hindu community. Yes. How can you say that we are targeting him? He is targeting the whole Hindu community.
No, only because the timing of the complaint is now after the complaint against Sharmishta. But I want to understand from you, what is the response you've got since you filed this complaint?
Yes, I have filed 2 complaints. One is with Delhi police and the other one is Kolkata police. I have in regular connect with the Kolkata police because that accused is residing over there. Even the Delhi police also have a jurisdiction. But till now, I am not received anything from Delhi police. But to the Kolkata police, I talked to the CP office, Kolkata, and also the Joint Commissioner Crime Office, Kolkata. They are saying that my complaint has been referred to Cyber Cell and they are looking to it. But till now, there is no FIR. And very important thing here, which I wish to mention. When this FIR against Mr. Panoli has been lodged, that complaint has been filed on 14th and the FIR lodged on 15th. But in this matter, when the gravity is more than that complaint, the Kolkata police, the complaint has been filed yesterday, but till today there
you
is
haven't
no
received any confirmation.
Yes, there is
on the
no FIR.
Exactly.
And what they are saying right now, they are saying that we are looking into it, we are looking into a complaint, we are verifying the fact. What is this? The verifying the facts and investigation only can be done when FIR could be lodged.
No, but this is what I was saying about due diligence, right? You do due diligence before converting a complaint into FIR, so that frivolous complaints don't get converted into FIRs. Yes, Manojit Mandal, you want to respond to this? Why is the Kolkata police going slow on this lawyer Wajahat Khan?
I was hearing about the free speech and advocacy of free speech. Can you answer why the students of JNU are still in jail for 5 years just for sloganeering?
Oh, come on. Don't compare sedition to this.
Oh my God. It's more than sedition, I think. Sedition, I mean...
You think is not the criteria here. The law has to provide for it.
What is your problem? What is your problem? If you don't allow me to speak, you are having 1 versus 3 and don't allow me to speak.
No, but how can you compare, a complaint of offending religious sentiments to sedition? Just now you were talking about that the environment in the country is such that you cannot allow such statements.
This can also turn into violent sedition. Even, please hang on. Don't disturb me. I understand what kind of an advocate you are.
Come on, don't make personal comments against other guests, please. Manojit, let's not do that.
No, then let them not disturb me.
Go ahead.
Talking about freedom of speech, the larger issue freedom of speech. If they think about the intent of causing harm, that intent can also lead to an FIR. That's what happened in case of Umar Khalid and others. Did Kashmir break up because of the sloganeering? Whatever the sloganeering they are doing, the answer is clear, no. The Kashmir did not break up. There's no communal right.
So there was no violence because of Sharmishta's post either.
Hang on, please. Have some courtesy. Have some courtesy on your case. Otherwise, don't call me. It's a very important issue. These students, they are also students. They're doing PhDs. They're in jail for 5 years. And when within 15 days of Arnab Goswami's jail, the case was heard in Supreme Court. You talk about freedom of speech. If you talk about freedom of speech, if you want to have all these laws abolish them altogether. I have no problem. But if there are
so where do you stand? Where do you stand? You are saying no case against Umar Khalid also and no case against Sharmishta also. Then why do the Bengal police do this?
There are laws. She is in jail for only 2 days. These people are suffering in jail without
That's not a comparison that can be made. I'm sorry, Manojit Mandal. These are not how cases are compared.
I will compare because
there are sections that apply that invite different kind of legal jurisdiction.
You are talking about freedom of speech. This is constitutional right. We're not talking about the law just. We're talking about...
I don't understand what line you're taking. Manojit Mandal, freedom of speech we're talking about in equitable cases. Sedition and offense of religious sentiments are not similar cases. I compared the case to Ahmedabad, for example. Those are comparable cases. You can't compare sedition in this case.
Why did you arrest this person? Why did you in the first place? Did you figure out what was his crime first of all? Why did you ask this Ashoka professor?
I don't understand. Manojit Mandal, I'm sorry. Defending another case is not a defense for the police here.
You come with a preconceived notion of not understanding. How can you understand? What was the crime of this professor? What was the crime?
So are you saying that this is tit for tat? That's exactly what I'm asking you.
No, I'm not saying that. I have not defended.
So then why are you talking about that case and not this case?
First of
As
all,
if that's a defense for this.
Have some courtesy. You do not.
Two wrongs don't make a right. We already discussed this. I'm the one who talked about the Mahmoodabad case. Don't preach to me.
What you are
Satya
doing
Mule wants to come in. Sir, 1 second. Just hold on.
Yes.
I don't understand this line that you're taking. If you're saying that was wrong, then please say this is wrong too. Then I can take your point. You're saying you did this, therefore we did
10-second
this.
system. You are coming here screaming every now and then. What I'm speaking, is this a debate? That's what you call.
But
like,
please end your
call
point,
this
no.
kind of debate. Don't know. Yeah, have you allowed me to come end my point?
What is your
You
point?
disturb
Take
your
30
speech like
seconds
that?
more. Same thing you're saying.
The point is very simple. If you talk about freedom of speech, the larger issue is very simple. Talk in every case, whether it's Arnab Goswami's case, Umar Khalid's case, this case, or Professor case.
Okay, I get your point, sir. Can I move on now? Yes, Satyamule.
Yes. In the case of Arnish Kumar, Supreme Court has very clearly laid down that due procedure has to be followed by the police at the time of registering FIR and proceeding to arrest any particular individual who is not alleged to commit any heinous or serious crime punishable for beyond 7 years of imprisonment. In this particular case, the crime that is alleged is not even of any major or serious nature. It is merely of offensive nature. It is not provocative. It is not instigating. It is not even calling for violence. For that matter, it is not a case fit for her arrest. Having said this, once again, I would want to go back. If you want to give it, you should be also be able to take it. This is freedom of speech in simple lines. What I want to say to the friend from Kolkata is that you are getting hypersensitive because you know this particular case has been watched up, and this case is being used by the Bengal political circles to please certain communities. This is called appeasement politics using police machinery.
Okay, can I just come in now? I'll go to Shubrashta. You know, I find it quite fascinating that Umar Khalid's case is being pointed out. Umar Khalid has been booked under UAPA. You have a problem with that section? Please oppose that section. But the UAPA section cannot be compared to sections of religious offence. He is named as the key conspirator in the Delhi communal violence case. The cases are dramatically different. To equate the two tells you the mindset. And I think the equation of the two cases in itself shows that there is something deeper here.
Without trial. If it's
And
a serious
Shivani,
case, UAPA,
yes, and
why is he
Shivani,
lying
which
in
is
jail
why,
for
can you
75
please ask
months,
Mr.
1
Mandal
year?
to shut up now that we have heard his commentary for a really long time.
Please mind your language.
So the thing is,
Mind your
Mr.
language.
Monojit Mandal, the
Mind
thing
your
is, it is
language.
about political
Hang on.
one-upmanship. You have
I'm not-
accepted it.
don't-
I don't know what
don't
kind
be
of political
uncourteous.
analysis you
You are
do.
an honorable
When you
lady,
cannot
don't be
even,
uncourteous.
when you
Mind
cannot
your
even
language.
draw 2
You-
plus,
you- you
when
are
you
not-
cannot
you are
even
not
calculate 2 plus
suitable for a
2.
TV debate.
If you
You are
say
not suitable
that
for a
Umar
TV
Khalid,
debate.
I don't know why
You
you
are not
compare,
suitable
bring
for a
Umar
TV
Khalid
debate.
into the
Mind
picture.
your
But if,
language.
according to you, if seditious
be
speech
ashamed
should
of
be
such
allowed in this
language.
country, then for sure Sharmishta should be allowed to, put whatever content she put out. And I'm not an advocate of Sharmishta, let me put it, be point blank about it. But I don't know the genesis of your political analysis. I do not understand which ideology it tries to feed and what government it is trying to protect. What Mamata Banerjee has done is definitely political overreach. And what and as Shivani explained to you, there is something called a UAPA. Please go and do basic searches. Please understand what cases of sedition are. Please understand that there's a cost,
Why are they lying in
civic
jail for
cost,
5 years without
a
trial then,
judicial
if the case
cost
is
that
so
you have to
serious?
go through.
Manojit
If
Mandal, your
tutelage
point about why
riots
they are
happen in this
quote unquote languishing in jail, well taken. But I'm sorry, sir, that is not a relevant point to be made in this debate. That's all we're
And you
saying.
will decide what is relevant.
So I've heard you,
It's a
na?
biased
I've heard
counter.
you. Now
You
at
can
least
be
don't go
sued.
on and on. You
will-
made
will
your
get-
point.
You will decide.
We are
You
disagreeing
come
with
a
you. You
biased-
made your
biased
point.
mind. You
Surely
will
you can
decide
allow
what
for
is-
that much.
What is relevant and not relevant.
It isn't relevant. I'm sorry to say. You cannot compare a
People
UAPA
can
case
watch
with a
IPG,
case of
IPG
religious sentiments
you
being
for
hurt. But
conducting
Vinit
such
Jindal,
laughable
I want to understand from you, do you see this as a tit for tat? Because now there is a competing narrative in different states. If your police does this, our police will do this. Let's be frank about this. That is exactly what is happening. There was no need to arrest Professor Mahmoodabad. His comments were of no clear and present danger to anybody. Similar case can be argued for Sharmishta. But both sides are crossing the line, no?
Yes, definitely, I am agree upon this. I am not saying that, but there is a difference. Difference is that if we are talking about Samishta case, she has been specifically say sorry about this her post, and she is a 20-year-old girl. She is in study law. So basically, the leniency in law, which has been seen in several matters, it should be taken care. But when we are talking about the person who is making complaint, Wahid Khan, what is happening right now? There is nothing. He is not saying anything, even a single word that the post he has been posting on by his social media accounts. He's not saying anything there. He's saying, okay. He's just responding, he's just quiet. And the police, the Bengal police, the Kolkata police had not taken any action. Why? The question is, when you are so proactive for arresting a lady from the other state in the night, why not the person can be arrested which is residing in your own state?
Okay, fair enough. Shabnam
making
Dey wants to come in.
derogatory
Shabnam Dey, 30 seconds, please, ma'am.
What my panelists are trying to defend Sharmishta, but the thing is that it is the individual case started a fire, and the state police has taken its legal course of action by police by thorough police investigation and verification. So this when the complaint has been lodged by learned fellow, my friend. So automatically police has to verify and then has to take the investigation
Okay.
and
We
will
hope that
take
they
legal
take-
course of action.
We hope
But
that
the
they
thing
take
is that
equitable action as
why
far as
our
all of
CM
these
has
complaints are
been-
concerned. Now,
why
certainly,
CM has
Kolkata
been-
police's actions will be under lens because they have acted in Sharmishta's case. Will they also act in Wajahat Khan's case? We leave it at that.
Shivani, that why CM is to be dragged in every sense, because this is not this investigation or done by CM.
Okay, I get your point. I get your point. But
He is-
similarly, in other states,
he
it is
is-
the chief minister who bears responsibility because the police of the
bearing
state comes
responsibility
under the
because it
chief
is the-
minister,
it
broadly
is the-
speaking, and under the
it
home
is the
minister of the
penal
state
action
government
and
as
which
well.
has been taken
I get your point,
as
ma'am. Thank you so much. We
legal
run out of time.
procedure.
I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Moving on to the sporting pitch now, IPL 2025 final is set to be a thrilling encounter between RCB and Punjab Kings, two teams with rich histories, but neither of them has ever lifted the IPL title. They are playing in, RCB is playing in their fourth final, Punjab Kings only in their second one. All eyes will be on one of the key players, Virat Kohli, for RCB, because despite the fact that the team made the final in 2009, 11 and 16, Kohli is yet to clinch this coveted trophy that has been missing from his cabinet. Will he be able to do this? On the other hand, Punjab Kings, under the leadership of Shreyas Iyer, have made a remarkable turnaround this season. He has become the first captain to lead three different teams to IPL finals. In fact, he won it with Kolkata Knight Riders last year. Can he repeat it? That would be quite a feat. So the 18-year curse of not having won a trophy will end for one of these teams. Big question is, which one? RCB will face Punjab in this final on June 3. The match featuring the two teams will take place at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Bengaluru, as I said, has featured in 3 IPL finals before. In 2009, they lost to Deccan Chargers. 2 years later, they lost to the eventual champions Chennai. And their last final appearance came 9 years ago. They lost to Hyderabad Sunrisers eventually. Similarly, Punjab is also chasing its first title. Their only final appearance came in 2014, 11 years ago, and they lost to eventual champions KKR at that time. All eyes are on Virat Kohli. His jersey number is 18, and it's been 18 years since he has been chasing the dream of winning this IPL title. He's had a cracking season with the bat, averaging 55 in 14 matches at a strike rate of 146. In fact, last year, when the women's RCB team won the WPL title, there were many questions whether the men in red and gold jersey will ever do the same. This is what Virat said then, that it's a dream of his to know what it feels like winning an IPL trophy. He will be here, a part of the team that wins the trophy for the first time. This is what he said in 2024. Well, that stage has arrived once again for him. So will it be 18th time lucky, or will it finally be Virat's time this year is the big question. Also take a look at how the match transpired last evening.
18, a number stitched in red on the back of a man who's carried the weight of a franchise and its dream for 18 long years. Virat Kohli. Jersey number 18, and now it is the 18th season of the Indian Premier League. A coincidence or destiny? March 11, 2008. A young under-19 World Cup winning lad from Delhi is picked in the draft by a new team called Royal Challengers Bengaluru. 18 years later, that same boy has become the king. The only constant in a team that's seen captains come and go, coaches reshuffle, and fans rise and fall with every season. But one thing remained elusive, and that is the IPL trophy. He's been here before, 2009, 2011 and 2016. 3 finals, 3 heartbreaks. And in Kohli's own words, 2016, that year broke him. 2 heartbreaks.
Let's go across to our guest joining us, Sabah Karim, former cricketer, Dilip Doshi, former cricketer, and Ayaz Mehman, senior sports journalist, all joining us on the show. Let's discuss the match that transpired that took Punjab to this final first. Sabah, do you think it was just the brilliance of Shreyas Iyer, or do you think Mumbai made tactical errors as far as their bowling plan is concerned? Sabah, can you hear me? I don't think he can hear me. Let me take that question to Dilip Doshi as well. Sir, what do you think? Do you think Mumbai made critical errors as far as their tactical plan was concerned, the way the overs were shared, who bowled which over?
Easier to say now, but I think Bumrah and Trent Bolt had a very average day, and they were not at their best by any chance. Santner, I expected him to bowl better and take some wickets in the middle. So the wickets are not coming, and that's what made it easy for Punjab. Shreyas Iyer played very well. He rode his luck very well because I think he played some great shots. But what I felt was that Mumbai were lacking in the edge of bowling, which we have seen all the season. Maybe it was an off day for 2 of their best bowlers.
Yeah. Ayaz, we discussed this earlier as well. Rude chances for Mumbai, but what an innings from Shreyas Iyer there. I mean, this is really one for the ages. Hitting sixes almost at will, regardless of who was the bowler that he was facing. And you talked about those shots that he was playing against Bumrah. That kind of mentally possibly broke the back of the Mumbai lineup.
Oh, absolutely. I think Shivani, the dismantling of Bumrah, I use that word very advisedly. It's not easy to dismantle somebody like Bumrah in the sense of the game plan and the execution of his plan, for which Bumrah is a maestro. But he got no wickets. He conceded 40 runs. And the manner in which first Josh English played Bumrah and then, of course, Shreyas Iyer. I thought Shreyas Iyer was a command performance. When he came into bat, things were still a little wobbly for Punjab. But then he took charge and he found an Ella and Vadera, and they took their side to almost to victory, and from there on there was no stopping him. I thought it was, in my opinion, the best innings of this year's tournament, certainly.
And does that make Punjab the favourites, dare I say? The momentum seems to be more with them. We see this often, the teams that have to go through 2 rigorous matches in this particular IPL format to get to the final, they end up having more momentum under their belt.
Yes, I think they do. I mean, at the end of the day, the pressure will be greater on RCB. They've had a wonderful season so far. Then they kind of had a massive win over Punjab in the earlier match. They bowled them out for 101. To recover from that kind of a defeat and play so strongly against Mumbai, who are, in my opinion, the stronger team on paper than Punjab, I think somewhere it'll have just reinforced this belief, this self-belief in Punjab that they can win this year. Neither Punjab nor Bangalore have won the title ever. So I think in that sense it's even Stevens. But, I just think that last night's victory over Mumbai will have just kind of given them a massive fillip in terms of confidence.
Yeah. Sabah Karim, do you think it can well be 18th time lucky for Virat Kohli? It's been a long time coming, 4th final for him. And at this stage of his career, I don't know how many more chances he can get.
Well, if you happen to be RCB fan and a Virat Kohli fan, then you would expect that RCB should win this tournament finally after so many years. I think everybody has been waiting for RCB to clinch this elusive title. The kind of form which RCB has shown this season has been phenomenal. I think first time ever, I think in the history of IPL that they've been able to construct a side that has managed to focus on having very strong bowling unit. And I think it is a result of that kind of a policy that has been adopted by RCB this time around, that we see RCB in the finals. They've always had a very strong batting component, but first time ever, I thought that they have spent a lot of time and energy on finding the right kind of balance in terms of their pace bowling and their spinners. But eventually, it is a final game. None of these sides have ever won the title, so it will be a battle of nerves, a battle of attrition. Hopefully, I think if the match winners from RCB side, if they are able to put their hands up, then why not? We'll obviously see a new champion, but it may jolly well be RCB this time around.
In many ways, they had this tag of having too many stars, too many names, and it almost seemed like, oh, this is a given that they should win. This time it seems that those starry tags have been dropped, barring Virat. There's nobody who's screaming as a big star, and yet they're managing to do what they needed to do. Do you think that is the difference this year for them?
Well, yes, to some extent, Shivani. But you know what? I feel that this time around, RCB has got a lot of unsung heroes. We don't talk about them generally. So if you are alluding to that, yes, absolutely. You have right at the top, to give company to Virat Kohli, we've had Phil Salt, who have been phenomenal. Then you have Rajat Patidar, Devdutt Padikkal till the time he was fit. Then in the lower middle order, you have Tim David as well as Romario Shepherd. And in addition, their bowling unit has done quite well. So yes, I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. But more importantly, I also feel that this time around, the other players have kind of offered that kind of cushion to Virat Kohli to play his own game. So no wonder he has played the role of an anchor to perfection. Not that his batting strike rate is very high, but I think he's been able to absorb the pressure because the batters around him have allowed him to flourish the way RCB wanted him to. I think that has made a big difference this time around for RCB.
Dilip Doshi, how does a player like Virat Kohli approach a final like this? Because surely the expectations, just your own mental demons would be quite high.
Yes, in a way, yes. But I think Virat is a very capable player. He can overcome the emotions and he can actually be in the zone and actually not really worry about the past. He plays a ball, so he will not look at the history while he is in the game. And that's been his strength all his career. Sometimes, as Sabha was saying, and I agree, in the past, the title eluded RCB simply because they did not have strong enough bowling to contain the opposition. In today's RCB's bowling, with the Australian Josh Hazelwood and some of the other boys who have been performing well as well, they put enormous pressure on the opposition. So I think RCB is capable of defending even a lesser total than 200.
Yeah,
that's what I feel. And fact, on the other side,
yes.
Pardon? Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Shivani, you were saying something?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying on the other side, one advantage which Punjab team will have is they have recently played 2 games and they are more match fit, so to say, even 3 days difference, because they played a game yesterday and RCB had a layoff for 3 days. And does these things matter? Except in confidence for the batsman who played well yesterday. If he's going to play a next game tomorrow, I think he is already in the mold. Yeah. So some of these things will help, but I think holding nerves will be the most important thing for both the teams.
And of course, Ayaz, Bangalore will take a lot of confidence from the fact that in the first qualifier, they actually bundled out Punjab for very cheap. So, that was the bowling performance that they would like to replicate.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll just, what Dilip highlighted, and I think Sabha also mentioned this year they seem to have got a very good composition. The balance is very good. They've got a couple of spinners. They've got 3 fast bowlers who've all been picking up wickets. There's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who bowls swing. There's Yash Dayal, who bowls left-arm pace. And then there's Josh Hazelwood, who hits the deck hard. And he's been he's been the lifeline of this attack. And when he was not there, they were struggling a bit, RCB. Now he's come back, and in the previous match we saw what he's capable of. So they've got a very good complement going. The batsmen have got runs, the bowlers have been getting wickets, and it hasn't looked better for RCB ever. I mean, in the past they've had, AP de Villiers and Chris Gayle and Virat Kohli in the same 11, so to speak, and yet unable to win because they didn't have the right composition. The balance was just not there. They seem to have it all this season, so they will fancy their chances. In fact, on paper, I think that they are a nudge ahead of Punjab because of the couple of spinners that they've got and fast bowlers in form.
Sabha, what do you think it does to a player when you've been chasing something for too long and it doesn't happen to you? In fact, last year when the women won the WPL from RCB, it became a massive joke that, the women have done what the men couldn't for 17 years. And Virat said that, this is a dream of mine. He's not shied away from saying that, yes, he wants that trophy, isn't it? But what do you think is making Virat so keen for an IPL trophy? He's achieved everything else. It's okay if he doesn't win this one. And secondly, what could it do to his psyche?
Well, you know what? I was there last season when the RCB women's side, they won the tournament, and there was massive joy in the RCB dugout. And everybody felt that they should kind of inspire the men's team also to do well. So they have followed that kind of a discourse. They've done very well this season around. So I think for Virat Kohli, I think the biggest challenge for him is to remain in the present. He has seen so many upheavals in his career with RCB, as Ayaz rightly pointed out. They've had some superstars in the side, but unfortunately, they've not been able to win any title. So this time around, I think I'm sure Virat would be hoping that things go down well for his side, including himself. He's able to put up a match-winning performance. But more importantly, there are certain basics on which they have to focus. And if you recall the previous game, even yesterday's encounter for that matter, that spill catch of Trent Bolt that cost MI dearly. Before that, when MI won or when RCB won, I think Punjab Kings fielding was not up to the mark. So there are certain basic factors that also helps you to emerge as winners. So I'm sure that Virat and company, along with the coaching staff, will be trying to instill in all the players that you need to focus, work on your basics, have a very common sense kind of an approach, and you can win this encounter. It's going to be tough for them, as I said. Virat Kohli, I'm sure he would be preparing very well. But I think at this stage, Virat has gone through so much. He's got loads of experience. As I said, I think the right thing for him is to just remain calm and go out and do his job for his side.
Yeah. Important for him to stay very loose, isn't it, as they say, before a big match like this, because if you get tensed up, then you cannot do what your body knows it can do. But I do, I don't want to be jinxing anything for RCB. Their fans will hate me. But
you have done it already, Shivani.
Have I done it already? I don't want to. Maybe I don't want Delhi to be left behind when it comes to a team with no title. But anyways, the match that comes to my mind is also the World Cup final, played at this very venue. RCB in this IPL has won all of its away games, so their form is not under question. India had won all of its league matches, and we all know what happened in the big final. So, all scripts go out of the window. But what is that one thing, Sabha, that you think the RCB has to be very careful about if they really have to cross the final hurdle this time?
I think all those teams who have done well this season, especially these two right at the top now, they have always been able to adapt to different conditions. I think that is so unique about this tournament, Shivani, that although it is played in India, but I think all the teams travel to different parts of the country and they have to face very challenging conditions. So I think teams or batters especially who have been able to adapt to these conditions have always come out on top. And we have seen that even in the qualifiers. Look what happened to Punjab Kings against RCB in the first qualifier one. They had a brain fade movement. Even Shreyas Iyer, who's in such a prolific form, he played a rash shot. So I think that is very important in the finals. That one, you can be slightly circumspect, give some more time to understand the condition, adapt to the conditions, and then go about to do their job. And I think so I feel in the finals, adaptability will be the key for both the teams.
Okay. We'll look forward to this match. I've run out of time, but I do look forward to having our guests with us tomorrow as well as we build up to that big match on June 3. 18 years and the first title for at least one of these teams and players. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Plain Speak. Thanks a lot for watching. The Right Stand is coming up.
Brought to you. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Sheikh Hasina charge is crime against humanity, as Bangladesh's Crimes Tribunal has indicted the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, and 2 other senior officials in her erstwhile cabinet on serious charges, including mass murder. Now, besides Sheikh Hasina, the country's former Home Minister Khan Kamal and ex-IGP Chaudhry Mamoon have also been named as co-accused in all of these charges. Remember, all of this comes in connection with the violent crackdown on student-led protests last year. The chief prosecutor at International Crimes Tribunal has alleged that Hasina orchestrated a quote-unquote systemic attack and is responsible for crimes against humanity. The trial began nearly 10 months after her government was ousted. The tribunal, led by Justice Ghulam Murtuza, formally took cognizance of the charges and will now proceed with the trial in absentia. Remember, she is still in exile. The prosecution has accused Sheikh Hasina and her aides of using brutal force to suppress mass dissent. A party's website has been banned in Bangladesh by the interim government under Mohammad Yunus. Meanwhile, Bangladesh Supreme Court has lifted the ban on Jamaat-e-Islami party more than a decade after it was banned by Sheikh Hasina's government. This means that Jamaat-e-Islami party can now be formally listed with the Election Commission and can contest polls. Okay, another development that we're learning of that has come from Bangladesh is as new banknotes in Bangladesh have been replaced, have replaced the portrait of the nation's founding father, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. That is something that has never been happened before. And these replaced images really now show images of Hindu and Buddhist temples, natural landscape and traditional landmarks in Bangladesh. The new notes will be in circulation along with those having Mujib's portraits and coins. So the father of Bangladesh, Mujibur Rahman, his images have been replaced and these new notes are going to be coming in circulation. They have now landmarks in Bangladesh, Hindu and Buddhist temples, and the landscape and also the traditional portraits of Bangladesh that will now be part of the new banknotes. So a very important development that is coming to light from Bangladesh. My colleague Kamalika is joining us with all the latest on this. Yes, Kamalika.
Yes, there are various developments in Bangladesh, and the major development is you pointed out that number one, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's photo that has been removed from the notes. That is a very vital development. Along with that, for the history, for the first time in the history of Bangladesh, rather in the international history, yesterday on Sunday, the entire hearing of Sheikh Hasina and his aides and her aides took place in Bangladesh in that court, and that went live, where the prosecutors have placed that more than 1,400 people died in 2 months in that July revolution, what they say, and all these deaths are because of Sheikh Hasina. That is what the charges are there against her, and along with that, she has been warrant has been issued now, and she has been asked to be present. That the court has asked the interim government to make Sheikh Hasina present by 16